can tell you so much more.
What's up, people? This is an evolution of my cook system. So I'm going to start you off here from what I've started with right up to the point of where I'm pretty much happy with my kit so far. So this has been a pretty much an evolutionary sort of progression from, cheap stuff out there that you could find that's on a budget, and have yourself a nice little cooking system there for whatever scenario. I call it all hazards, meaning I work out in the field a lot. Usually I'm in remote areas, and if I don't pack enough food, I'm going to have to get into my sort of 72-hour kit, and I got a bunch of Mountain House and good old-fashioned MREs there to keep me going and keep fighting, as they say. But I need a method for me to sort of heat that stuff up, purify water, what have you. Pretty much food and water, and a cooking system to, keep you going. And this video is pretty much my progression of what I've done in the past till what I do now. So pretty much as a working stiff out there in the field, I carry food with me just in case of emergencies, running late or what have you. And I started off with the regular USGI cup here, and you could pretty much do anything with this. Purify water, cook your food, heat up some water, you name it, you could do it in this. It's served armies in the world for nearly 75 years or so. Not in this particular design, but very similar throughout the nations out there. And you just can't beat it. This thing is just hardcore. Regular spork and spoon combo here. And then I had a sort of a comm propane stove here. Just put on your adapter on this thing here. Turn this on. There you go. Then put your meal right on top. It's as simple as that. And with that, I pretty much keep some Mountain House in the truck, and also an MRE. With the MRE, especially the new ones, you don't need all these devices here, because the heating package is in here, and like the name suggests, meals ready to eat. You could just eat this right like this. But I like to mix it up, keep the diet and variety going, so you won't, go crazy. So I like to, mix it up with Mountain House and canned foods, pork and beans, or what have you. I'm not picky about what I eat. So then I started doing the bug out thing and kind of testing how that goes and how to make my system more efficient. And through the evolution of that, I found out that I really like going out in the woods and just getting lost. I just like going out there, going to remote areas and sustaining myself for X amount of days on nothing but what I pack in with, and going to remote areas that other people don't pretty much wander into. Not families, like car camping and whatnot. But I'm digressing here. This here is, I guess you could backpack this stuff a good 5 miles to and from, and it'll be okay, but it is kind of bulky. The can here, I usually use this sort of like a test tube to find out what kind of stoves I like. On this particular stove here, you sort of have to balance it out just right for it to be stable there. As you can see there, if you don't get it just right, it'll tilt or what have you, and you might have a bad day using this. Not only that, this base here is a little bit wobbly as well. I do have a base, but I don't use it all the time. So I wanted to upgrade into something more efficient. I started diving into alcohol stoves, and this is the first one, commercial alcohol stove that I bought. It's a Vargo, I don't know, Triad or some crap. It's okay. It does work, and it works pretty well. It's somewhat efficient. It takes a while to prime. Once it blooms, it's about maybe 45 seconds before it starts to bloom altogether, the flame that is. But it fails my my canteen cup test. So you got these 3 prongs here to hold your pot. Usually, you know, like something like this holds it up there okay. But it fails my, I mean, you could do it, but it's very unstable and it doesn't balance on there very well. And if you're in a forest or somewhere out there that you're not guaranteed of a steady platform, you're going to lose your water or your food or whatever. So I bought me a, I kind of tossed this to the side and upgraded to a Solo Pot 900. It's got graduated lines there, stainless steel, it's got a lid. It's a pretty capable pot. I like this a lot. And yeah, that balances on there pretty good. And I could do everything that I need to do with this bot here. And then on top of that, I brought a GSI sort of little cup here for, I don't know. It doesn't really balance. Yeah, I guess it does balance on there, but not very well. You have to be pretty precise to balance it on the little triad alcohol stove here. What's nice about this is that you could pretty much nestle all this crap in there, just like so. Put your stove in there. 8-ounce little bottle of alcohol. You could actually fit that stuff in there. Close it up. I made a little pot cozy here to keep all your liquids warm or cold, however. Put that on there. Cook your meal that way. And this little homemade Reflectix pot cozy it's pennies to make, and it's so efficient. If you're out in a cold environment, this will keep the heat of the water after you boil it pretty warm, and you will have a nice hot meal instead of a lukewarm going cold meal. This is worth the trouble and investment to make, is one of these homemade pot cozies for sure. And this was my cooking set for quite a while now, using alcohol. After about a season of using this, which was okay and everything, but I wanted to move on from this. This wasn't as efficient as far as time and materials and whatnot, and I just wanted to move somewhere else with this here. So I started making my own stoves, and the first one I made was this cat stove. Really simple, super light. This thing weighs nothing. This is a canister for cat food, a little small fancy feast stove, and all you do really is poke these holes here in the side there, pour your alcohol in there, light it up, and you're off to the races. What's nice about this is you don't need a dedicated stand. The canteen test, yeah, it balances on there really well, but it doesn't cover the top like a, you know, it doesn't cover the tops too well, so a lot of the fumes from the alcohol will escape through this little gap right here, that gap right there, and you'll have a plume of flame going up this way instead of a nice circular sort of flame pattern from the bottom here. So it kind of fails the canteen test, which is no big deal because I've moved on to these. And if you put a stove like this on there, that works just fine. And I ran that for a season, and that was pretty good and cheap. 1 ounce of alcohol, and you could boil 2 cups of water in about 7 minutes or so, depending on conditions. So that was my next progression. YouTube is so cool because after that I was surfing YouTube there, looking at alcohol stoves, and this one caught my eye called the Toba stove. I'll link the main video for that underneath there, but this is a Toba stove. This is my final build right here, and I built like 3 or 5 of them, kind of refining my size and what I wanted. This one is a little bit bigger, this one is smaller but beat up, and this is pretty much what I've come to. I had this for like 3 years already. It's really cheesy looking and everything, and it looks fragile, but it has withstand 2 to 3 seasons out there with me, and it's made out of these 8.4 fluid ounce cans. But this is my go-to stove now as far as alcohol. Super light, not as light as this, but lighter than this. They run really close, really. But this is much more efficient, I would say. But the only problem with this is you need a pot stand there, so because the flame jets up from the inside here and not towards the out. But for me, that's kind of perfect because I think it's more efficient when the flames are shooting up that way. As a pot stand, I just use this chicken wire there from Home Depot or whatever. Just cut it out into a circular, and it's got like a little built-in hook there. I could, you know, wrap it around stuff or whatever. Just hooks in like that, over, light it up, put my stove on top, and I'm off to the races. And this has been my go-to setup right here. Along with that, if it's windy or if I'm outside, this is a cheapo aluminum windshield that I made from a cooking pan. It just goes on top like that. Put your stove on like that. Off to the races you go. Really efficient. It boils water within 5 to 7 minutes depending on conditions, and it's the lightest option that I have to haul in long hikes. This is what I use when I could, because here in California we've been in a drought for a good 4 or 5 years, and they only allow canister stove during the summer and hotter, drier months. But during winter, this is what I take out there with me. Now really quick, look how fast this thing primes and jets out some flame. So there, I just lit it, and it takes about maybe 4 seconds. That was like 4 or 5 seconds for the jets to sort of start coming out from the side. And now it's beginning to prime and bloom pretty good. And look at the height of that flame is about this high. So at this point is where I put my pot stand on top of it, and then my pot. And that's pretty efficient right there. My go-to setup. As you can see from the top there, it looks like afterburners out of a fighter jet. That's what I'm talking about. And with 1 ounce of fuel, I could boil 2 cups of water easily, and in pretty cold temperatures at that. That's what I'm talking about. And that passes my canteen cup test. It's pretty stable on that right there. You know, within reason, this could be pretty stable, and you could do what you need to do. Now, as far as pots, these days I go to the Vargo Bot, and this has been a pretty kick-ass piece of kit for me. This is an older version that I got first a couple of years ago, and then the one thing I didn't like is it didn't have a bail or anything, you know, to kind of hold on to it. You have to kind of grab it or whatever. So I drilled some holes onto the side there, here, and with a little copper piece of wire there, electrical housing copper, made myself a makeshift bail. And I could still put a lid on there and tighten it down just a little bit, not too much, and do what I need to do. And this has been my go-to sort of setup too, on a fire, on a stove, wherever. And what's nice is that this bot could be used as a water container as well, because this will screw right on top, and with this silicone seal on here, it would airtight, you know, contain your liquids in there. So this carries about almost a liter. the leader will come right to the top there. So, you know, if you put this thing on there, some of it's going to spill out. I kind of messed up and decided that I wanted my holes filled back already, because I could, like I said, I could use this as a bot, but with the holes that I punched in there, it doesn't work very well like that. I could put tape on it, but then, you know, I wanted to fix that. So I brought me another bot. But this bot here, and it's made out of titanium too, and it's super light. With this one here, I put copper wiring around the lip here, so it'll hug the bot itself without me having to drill some holes. And that's my little bail modification there. So I don't need to put holes in it and whatever. And the new version of the bot has measurement lines here in metrics. So 300 milliliters, 600, and 900 at this line right here. So they actually upgraded this pretty good too, and I'm glad about that. This hasn't been baptized by fire yet, but soon enough it will. So once again, I made a cozy for this size bot here, so it'll keep my all my stuff warm after I heat it up. The bail comes off. I just fold that a little bit, put it in here. I have a piece of aluminum foil for whatever, cooking fish or whatever, but mostly to snuff out the flame after I get done boiling something. Sometimes I have some leftover here, and I'll just snuff it out, wait for it to cool, and then pour it back into my little bottle. So I could carry all my alcohol cook set in the bot itself, all in one piece. So cooking stove goes in there, lighter goes in there, my fuel, actually the fuel goes in there first, then that, and that's pretty much it. And I have enough room for me to close this. Aluminum foil goes into the cozy. This goes in here, cover it up. I got a longer titanium spoon here for digging into the mountain house over there. 10 ounces right there. And I have a good 2 to 3 days worth of hot meals with the amount of alcohol here. 8 ounces I would imagine I have here, so that's 8 hot meals pretty much.
Stop your running about. It's time you straighten right out. Stop your running around, making trouble in the town.